Hey there, all my fantastic fanatics. This is your man, Dr. Usher, coming at you live. And I'm going to expose the origins of gender identity. Now, I notice that whenever there's a debate or a discussion about this issue, that no one seems to discuss or question its origins. I mean, have you ever thought, where did this crap come from? I mean, here we are following and believing this junk, and I'm just thinking, where did it come from? So, Dr. Usher, me, myself, and I have researched the origins of this thing, and so in today's broadcast, I'm gonna answer two big questions. Not two big questions. I'm gonna answer three big questions about the origins of gender identity. And these three big questions are, drum roll please. I'm going to answer who invented this theory, when was it invented, and where did the research data come from? Now let me warn you, the answers that I'm about to give you will make some of you sick to your stomach to the point where you're going to vomit. I mean, I read the research. I got the factual data. I'm going to post it on drusher.com. And I need you guys to really go to drusher.com. I tried to post it before, but everything went wrong. And I'm like, man, why does the enemy want to stop me from getting this truth out? Because it's the truth. But no matter what happens, it's important that I tell you the unedited truth. You got to know the entire history of this whole gender identity, gender ideology, gender roles, this whole thing. You got to know all of it. And it's my hope that you will share these facts with your friends, your local government, and the school boards. So here's your answer, everybody. Where did this thing come from? I'm going to lay it down to you right now. This whole thing was started by a man by the name of Dr. John William Money. John William Money is recognized and considered to be the father of our current understanding of gender. In fact, the New York Times stated in 2006, the New York Times people credits Dr. Money as the one who officially coined the phrase gender identity and gender roles. In what year did he do that? 1955. See, a lot of y'all thought that this thing was new. You know, I mean, you thought it's not new. You just thought it's like, dang, Raph, it's part of history. Nah, prior to 1955, none of this junk even existed. This was not an issue. Gender was not an issue until 1955. This is where your boy, John William Money, coined the phrase gender identity and gender roles. Let's just set that fact right there. So, now, knowing that you now understand that this is a recent ideology, and wait a minute, before we even go into the ideology and I answer the third question, I want you guys to understand something. Gender ideology is only a theory. It's not a scientific fact. And if you do dare say this is a scientific fact, wait till you see where the research data came from, everybody. That's what I'm going to expose to you now. So, where did all this research data come from that everybody's hooping and hollering, oh man, gender, it's a scientific fact. You can be whatever you want to be. You be a man, you can be a woman, you can be a dog, you can be a cat. Well, where did all that come from? John William Money, Dr. John William Money got his research data by forcing preschool-age children to engage in sex acts. John William Money. Google it. He's the founder of this thing, and he got his research data by forcing children, preschool age, your babies, to engage in sex acts. And it's going to even get more disgusting than that because I got a lot more to share. Because I want you guys to know from the jump, I ain't going to go any further in this broadcast unless I tell you this. John William Money was a child sex predator of the worst kind. He committed his atrocities under the guise and protection of a licensed professional. Yes, he was a licensed professional. He wasn't a medical doctor. I think he was like a sociologist, sexologist, or psychologist, something crazy like that. But he had his practice. And he committed these atrocities under the guise of his licensed profession. And think about this, everybody, so you'll know. He is the Larry Nassar of his day. But the difference is that John William Money is being praised as a scientist and a hero, when in fact he should be considered a criminal. He is a criminal. What this man did to children was horrific. And he videotaped it. Not videotaped, I'm sorry, they didn't have videotape. The documents state that he photographed this. He photographed children in the act of. Now you think I'm lying? Let's delve a little bit deeper into his research, because I want everybody right now watching this broadcast to do one thing. At the end of this broadcast, I want you to Google David Riemer and his twin brother. I want you to Google it, because right now, what I want you to see is that this man right here, Dr. John William Money, sexual child pervert at his worst, at the core of his being, a horrible, despicable, sick old man who used his degree, who used his licensure to abuse a little boy. And what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to go to Google, and I want you to Google the name David Riemer. Well, why David Riemer? David Riemer was one of the first children to undergo gender reassignment surgery by coercion. He didn't want to do it, but this handsome little boy who had a botched circumcision procedure, Dr. Money coerced his parents. Dr. Money coerced David's parents into getting their boy gender reassignment surgery and to raise this young boy as a girl. In fact, when you delve into the facts of David's botched circumcision procedure, it was a condition that would have resolved medically on its own. So it was medically unnecessary to even touch him down there. See, the issue is this man, John William Money, was a child sex abuser. He manipulated David's family into forcing David not only to get the surgery, but he also forced them into forcing this little boy to take hormonal medications and subjected David and his twin brother to sexual abuse without the parents knowing, of course, because we're going to go into this. So rather than tell you my point of view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you David Riemer's documented testimony about his time with this sick monster. I'm going to pull it up on my screen. I'm going to read it to you as it's written. So here's the backstory that can be found in the December edition of Rolling Stone magazine back in 1997. I actually ordered this copy. I'm going to photograph this copy, scan it, and put it on drusher.com so you all can read it for yourselves. And here it goes. David, this is talking about David, okay? During the twins, David and his brother's psychiatric visits with Money, Dr. Money, John William Money, this sexual pervert. And as a part of his research, Riemer and his twin brother were directed to inspect each other's genitals and to engage in behavior resembling sexual intercourse. Riemer claimed that much of Money's treatment involved the forced reenactment of sexual positions and motions with his brother. In some exercises, the brothers rehearsed the missionary position with thrusting motions, which Money justified as the rehearsal of healthy childhood sexual exploitation. This sick pervert forced this little boy to have gender reassignment surgery, and then with David's twin brother, he forces these kids to engage in sex acts. What? But it goes even deeper. In the Rolling Stone interview, here is David Riemer himself talking. Riemer recalled that at least once, Money, this pervert, John William Money, photographed those exercises. Money also made the brothers inspect another's pubic areas. David Riemer stated that Money observed those exercises both alone and with as many as 6 colleagues, perverts. Riemer recounted anger and verbal abuse from Money if he or his brother resisted orders. See, even little David knew that what he was doing was wrong. And then when David tried to resist, this sexual pervert got angry and chastised this little boy. And in contrast to the calm demeanor and scientific demeanor of Money that he presented to the parents. So in private with the boys, this pervert, this child predator, in front of the parents, he was, oh, Mr. Nice Scientific Doctor. But when the parents were away, he was a monster. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a doctor. And some of you guys don't have degrees in psychology or anything, but I'm telling you, that's how pedophiles operate. They gain the trust of the parent, they woo the parent, and then they abuse the child behind the parent's back. Now, you tell me, if you got a heart in your body, if you're a kind and caring person, I don't care if you're gay or straight, what this man did to that little boy and those little boys was dead wrong. But it goes even deeper than that. Riemer and his brother underwent Money's treatment at preschool age and grade school age. This is the victim talking. Believe the victim. Money described Riemer's transition as successful and claimed that David Riemer's girlish behavior stood in stark contrast to his brother's boyishness. Money reported on Riemer's case as John Jones case, leaving out David Riemer's real name. For over a decade, Riemer and his brother unknowingly, from the time they were in preschool, unknowingly provided data that, according to biographers and the Intersex Society of North America, was used to reinforce Money's theories on gender fluidity and provided justifications for thousands upon thousands of sex reassignment surgeries for children with abnormalities or abnormal genitals. Ladies and gentlemen, this dude, this guy was a pervert. So you might be asking me, Raph, who is John? Who is this? Who is David? This is David. This is what they did to David. David was a boy. And because of this sick pervert's sexual desires, forced this little boy into becoming a girl. Now, if you Google David Riemer, you'll get to see a picture of him as an adult male. Because when he came of age and realized what had been done to him, he reversed it. But the atrocities and the abuse that he suffered through that sick, perverted doctor, David Riemer killed himself with a shotgun in 2004 at the age of 38. And this, my dear friends, is the origins of gender ideology. The science that's used to support gender ideology, gender identity, gender fluidity, and gender roles is based upon the abuse of preschool-aged children. This man lied and abused for his own sexual pleasure. Well, how do you know? Come on, guys. He had every classic sign of a pedophile. And he used his licensure as a cloak of trust to abuse children. So you might be asking, why is it important that I bring this up? Why do I make a big deal out of the origins? Because it's the same reason why we speak against Hitler, Nazism, and the KKK. If the man who created this whole theory and this whole belief was evil to his core, then why would we continue to implement his teachings and theories in our public schools? See, there are people, listen up, public school system, Duval County Public School, the Florida Department of Education, and all you educational leaders, y'all need to listen up. Now, your time of ignorance has come. Now, I'm surprised that none of you bothered to research the origins of this thing, because I believe if you would have just taken the time to research this instead of trusting the garbage that was given to you, you would have recognized that, hold up, the data is flawed. You can't base research on children that were forced and abused and the parents were lied to and manipulated. He based all of his data on it, and the foundational data that holds all of this together, this whole gender thing together, was founded on the abuse of David Riemer by a sexual perverted pedophile. So if you say that, well, Raph, that's just the past, well then, we need to bring back Hitler's teachings on the Aryan race. I mean, hey, we need to bring back the Nazis. We need to go ahead and apologize to the KKK. Because, hey, if that's all in the past and there's some validity in that, then okay then. Let's bring back all the stuff that we hate. But ladies and gentlemen, we're at a point in this discussion where you have to learn to make a decision. Because what I'm sharing with you is facts. And it's disgusting how you never even heard about this. It's like the media just covers it up. And I believe that Dr. John William Money, I think he passed away in like 2006 or 2008 or something like that. And he got away with abusing children. Now, had he lived to this time, maybe he would be in jail right now, because the Me Too movement and the woke movement, they probably would have found out about this pervert and probably would have put him under the jail. But even in 2006, when Rolling Stone did this interview, what was it, 2006? When did he do this interview? When this interview was done in 2004, I'm sorry, yeah. When Rolling Stone magazine in 1997 did the interview with David Riemer, remember the New York Times stated in 2006 that this man was the father and the one who coined gender ideology. And this is 2006. This is modern era. This is our time period, everybody, where this man is getting away with this abuse. No one bothered to question where he got this information from. No one bothered to question what he did to what he did to David Riemer. No one questioned John William Money about what he did to those little kids. And according to other reports, he did this to countless other children too. And he photographed it. What sick man will photograph little children engaged in the missionary position, humping each other for scientific research? Do you believe that? So if you're LGBTQ and you believe in trans ideology, and you gotta make a decision. You guys are gonna have to make a decision. I'm talking to all the LGBTQ people out there in the world right now. You guys are gonna have to make a decision about what you're gonna do with John William Money, knowing that how he got the data that you're standing on, that you built your foundation on, was brought forth by him abusing preschool-age children. And you ask me, well, why do you say that they want your children? Because evidence after evidence after evidence, and I got these videos on YouTube, on my YouTube page, where everybody states when the two ladies won their right to marry, what they say, we did this for the children. When you hear about any arguments being made by the school system, they say it's for the children. Everything that they do and say is for the children. And the sad thing is, ladies and gentlemen, it's true. They're doing this for the children. But why? Well, did you know that in Maryland, that the age of medical consent to have gender reassignment treatments has been dropped to the age of 12 if a licensed professional deems that the 12-year-old is mature enough to make that medical decision without parental consent. See, this has always been about the children. They're always going on about the children. And it's true. Because this is where parental rights comes in. If they can remove your parental rights, then they have full access to your children. And that's what this is all about. The big pharmaceutical companies are in this for the long haul. They can convince you to put your kids on these medications for life. They got a lifetime of unlimited income. And you guys got to put a stop to this. You got to make known the perversity of the origins. Because if you don't, it's your fault. Whatever happens to these little kids next, that blood is on your hands. I did my part. I made this video. I put it out there. So now you guys got to make up your mind. What are you going to do? You're just going to sit back and say that, oh, Raphael's lying. He made it up. You ain't got to believe me. Wikipedia it. It's on Wiki. Google it. It's on Google. You better do it before they try to delete it. But I'm begging you, and I need you guys to pray for Joe Biden and all the liberal Democrats out there who support this gender ideology thing. And you need to ask them, start asking them the question, do you know where this originated from? Ask them, where did they get the research data to support gender identity and gender ideology? Where did they get it from? I guarantee you, 90% of the people that support this thing don't know its origins, but you now do. So I charge you today to get out there and share this with everybody that you know. The future of a child's life depends on it. Okay? So I'm going to leave it like this. Do as much good as you can while you can. I'm Dr. Usher, and the best thing that you can do right now is save these children from more abuse. Because they're going to use this to hurt children. And if you sit back and let this happen, may God have mercy on your souls. You're not a human being, you're a monster. Stand up and fight for these kids. Parental rights is not about don't say gay. Parental rights is about remembering David Riemer and not allowing another David Riemer to happen in our generation. We're the woke generation. We're the intelligent generation. We're not going to have another David Riemer. And it's up to you guys to stand up and speak out. Remember David Riemer. And remember the pervert, the pedophile, John William Money. The foundation of it all. Whew. I could keep going. I'm going to let y'all go.